Buenos días, señoras, señores, autoridades. Bienvenidos a nuestro desayuno de lanzamiento de Expo Asia América. Agradecer la presencia de nuestras autoridades, el embajador de Paraguay, el señor José María González, el señor de Ecuador, el embajador de Ecuador, Homero Arellano, el embajador de China, el señor Li Baorong, y diversas autoridades que nos acompañan de cámaras de comercio de más de 14 países hoy día. Muchas gracias a todos ustedes por estar en nuestro lanzamiento de Expo Asia América 2016, nuestra primera feria masiva en Chile, creada especialmente con el objetivo de aumentar, simplificar, promover el intercambio comercial entre países de Latinoamérica y mercados asiáticos. Este evento se celebra del 9 al 12 de junio del próximo año 2016 en el recinto ferial Espacio Riesgo. Con más de 30.000 metros cuadrados, esperamos que empresas expositoras realicen intercambios comerciales con altos estándares de seguridad en una ubicación estratégica, con ruedas de negocios, charlas de especialistas y servicios a nivel del encuentro del mundo empresarial. Al revisar el escenario latinoamericano, nos encontramos con la riqueza productora de naciones emergentes y el constante crecimiento, pero que siempre esperan aumentar su oferta exportadora. Es por eso que Expo Asia América 2016 espera ser una plataforma comercial de encuentro de inversionistas, productores, exportadores, importadores de las naciones de ambos continentes, aumentando de esta forma el intercambio comercial y generando nuevos eslabones de negocios entre pequeños y medianos empresarios de más de 18 naciones. Son 9 países de Asia y 9 países de Latinoamérica que están invitadas a este gran evento. Y con el apoyo de las autoridades presentes, estoy seguro que vamos a conseguir nuestros objetivos para esta feria, para esta gran reunión. Así como lo dijo ayer en la casa del señor embajador Li Baorong, el señor Eduardo Freire, nuestro expresidente de Chile, requerimos plataformas comerciales eficientes y masivas que reúnan a los empresarios y generen nuevos negocios, y los inversionistas que están buscando plataformas como Chile, con grandes tratados de libre comercio y con la mayor cantidad de tratados en toda Latinoamérica, como la puerta de entrada a los productos hacia Latinoamérica y desde Latinoamérica hacia países asiáticos. Es por eso que en esta ocasión Interferias Sociedad Anónima, que es la empresa organizadora y productora de este evento, les organizó una presentación comercial que está a cargo del señor Miguel Regler, nuestro gerente comercial, quien les va a dar detalles sobre esta feria y por qué la estamos realizando. Muchas gracias por estar acá. Esperamos que la alianza sea durante todos los meses que quedan para llegar a junio de 2016. Y dejo con ustedes a Miguel Regler. Por favor, adelante. Gracias.
Good morning to everybody. I would like to thank the ambassadors, the commercial personnel of the embassy, the commercial interchange of every country that we have here. My presentation will be in English because a lot of people here doesn't speak Spanish, although the presentation is in Spanish for those who don't speak English. Okay? So we'll try to make the presentation for everybody. First of all, I want to say I will try to make it as best as possible. Sao An, Ohio, Annyeonghaseyo, Selamat Pagi, Arun Sawat, Shao Boifan. That means good morning. Almost all the languages of the countries of Asia, China, Japan, and Korea. I would like to start the presentation with a thought. For the Occidental mind in management, we know that in most of the Asian languages, we manage as ideograms, ideas, okay? And many times when we speak about danger or threats, also we have opportunities. And I would like to quote in this moment Peter Drucker idea is that the best way to see our future is to create it. Okay, let's start with the presentation. We're going to have 4 parts. The beginning, it's where we are, the reality of the export companies of Asian countries and of Latin America. Then we will speak about Chile and Chile as a platform of interchange, commercial interchange, and our exposition. Where we are. Today, we have more or less $30,000 million between Latin America and Asia. And to the other side also, more or less the same amount of imports and exports. Here we can see it's a graphic, very specific, about the imports and exports of every Latin American country to the Asian markets. In the exports of Latin America to Asia, to all the Asian countries that we are inviting to our Asia America Expo, it's more or less 45% of the total of the exports of Latin America. Chile has 25%, and then Argentina 10%, Peru, Colombia, and so on. The imports from those Asian countries to Latin America, also the most important is Brazil. The Brazilian market, everybody knows the importance of the Brazilian market. And then comes to Chile, Argentina, Uruguay, Colombia. If we see in the graphic, we can see here the exports and imports of every country. And we see, once again, and then Argentina, Peru, Colombia. We have, looking the other way, we can see that China has, in the external trade, the most important part of its exports and imports. Exports from Asia represents 64% of all the total exports of the Latin American countries. And also China represents 61% of the imports of Latin America. Philippines, Singapore, and Thailand. Those countries, we want more interchange with our countries of Latin America. As I said before, we have interchange of imports and exports of more than $130 million from Latin America to Asia, and from Asia to Latin America. It's a very balanced situation. Our goal is to increase this interchange. And for that reason, we are going to analyze what's the reality of the export companies of Asia and Latin America. We have several problems as exports from Latin America to Asia. and from Asia to Latin America. We can say that we have two big issues, the macroeconomic level and the microeconomic level, the companies. If we analyze the export problems of macroeconomics, we have four areas. The first big area is the tax policies of the countries. The second one is the commerce technical obstacles. Many times our countries are not so efficient as we would like to, and we have problems to import products from other countries. Also, we have the sanitary measurements, and especially for agriculture. When we spoke the first time with the people of the Chamber of Commerce of Malaysia, we spoke about the possibility of export fruits from here, Latin America, to the Asian countries. And we spoke, as you remember, the halal item, that is the way how to export our fruits and our vegetables. The third point is to improve our competitiveness. Many times we have problems because we have countries that are more competitive than ours, and we have to improve our competitiveness. And finally, the port and infrastructure. That means that many times to arrive to, for example, from Latin America to Asia, we have to go through different ports that increase the costs of our products going to Asia. Chile has a direct way with Asian countries, but many times the other countries have to go through the United States or other countries that are increasing the cost of the exports. But those are not the big issues in macroeconomics. For the companies, it's difficult to move these kind of problems. And what we can do is to ask our authorities to improve these problems. But where we can really improve, it's in our microeconomic issues that are very simple. The four main problems of the companies, the small companies. First is the language problem. Many times for Latin Americans, they don't speak English, they don't speak Taiwanese, Japanese, Korean, or Chinese. Many times they don't have translators. And we are not speaking about the big export companies. We're speaking about the small enterprise, the guy that has the company and he wants to export to Asia. Second problem is to find the right people in the other countries, to find the partners, especially where we go, where we can look for them. Are they trustful? Okay. Is my client going to pay? How I know that this guy will do what he says that he will do? And many times we have suppliers that they're not trustful. Many times we bring things from other countries. The first time, the second time, the next time we don't have the products that we needed. We have to see people. It's not enough to buy through the internet our products because we don't see the manufacturer. We must create synergy. We must create synergy between the Latin American companies and the Southeast, the ASEAN +3, China, Korea, Japan. And we have to speak, for example, here, what I intended to explain is that in the APEC, yes, the conversations between the ASEAN countries and Latin America, they describe 3 items that we have to achieve. First, create a supply and production chain. That means that we must increase the value of our products. Integration, interchange, technological interchange. More than 96% of the ASEAN companies are small and medium companies. And this, they will contribute more or less between 35 and 53% of their gross domestic product. In words of the FMI, the International Monetary Fund, they think that in 2018, ASEAN countries will be the 2nd largest economy in the world. They are working very fast, and Latin America has to go by the side of the Asian countries. They spoke, the ASEAN countries and Latin America, to improve business links, to integration, companies that can export to other countries to finish products. I was speaking 2 minutes before we started the event with the Ambassador of Ecuador. And for example, we have, I like very much, a small city in Ecuador that makes a lot of garments of leather. They have beautiful leather in Cotacachi. But one of the products that they don't have, it's crocodile. And maybe to bring crocodile from Vietnam to Ecuador will be a very nice idea. Integration. The main focus of the conversations between ASEAN and APEC with Latin American countries was the focus on the small and medium companies. I think our governments have done what they have to do. They made all agreements. Today is the first day, it's the first year, sorry, that Chile and China, we have agreement that we started 10 years ago, speaking what would come on 2015. Yesterday, the ambassador of China said in his presentation that today, this year, it's a very important moment for us. Focus in the small and the medium companies. We are more or less 90% of the internal product of every country. The small, the big companies, they don't need help. But the small products, the small manufacturers, we want to increase our interchange, the commercial interchange. We need help, especially different countries, Latin America. And now, I want to show you why we choose Chile to do a show, the commercial interchange place. Today, Chile is the most open economy in Latin America, also for Asia and for Latin America. We have agreements with all the countries. We started more than 10 years ago with Korea, then 2006 with China, after with the P4 that it's Singapore, Brunei, New Zealand, and Chile. 2007 was Japan, Malaysia, and Vietnam, 2012 and 14. And we hope that Indonesia and Thailand will, in the second half of the year, we will sign the free agreement trades. With Latin America, we have the Mercosur as an ally since 1996. The Pacific Alliance since 2011 with Peru and Colombia, also with Mexico. We're not bringing in today Mexico in the map. We have complementary agreements with Peru, with Bolivia, with Ecuador. What we're intending to do is to make a bridge. A bridge where our Expo, Asia America, has a mission. Our mission is to simplify, promote, and spread the commerce and investments among companies, small and medium companies. Investors, as Glenn said in Spanish, investor, production, exports and imports from all the 18 countries of Latin America and Asia. We will need for this a lot of help. A lot of help in investments. Investments of banks. We need investments for increasing our export opportunities and to see the growth of each country, to be able to share the growth of our countries. The place of China is very important today. Today, since 2008, China is a member of the Banco Interamericano de Desarrollo de PIB, Inter-American Bank of Development. We have problems that we have to solve between the markets. Products very sensitive from Asia to Latin America, and to improve our commodities from Latin America to Asia. We're going to be a bridge in this Expo Asia America show. We want to be a bridge. And we have very specific objectives in this Expo. First, to strengthen the actual relationships. Today, as you saw, we have very good relationships with all the countries. And in the reality, here we are going to have different integration areas. Latin American integration, because the different American companies will see American markets. Also, a relationship between the Latin American companies and the Asian companies, and maybe with the Asian companies, between them. Second, we want to generate new business opportunities. For example, with the special areas as industry, as medicine, as cars, textiles, furniture, education. We can bring here a lot of entrepreneurs, investments for both places, for both areas, to find partners, not only in our continent, partners in the other continent. Many times we're good in some things, and we don't have the partners, ideal partners. So we can make business opportunities. Third, links with investors. Link with investors means, as I said before, help to increase our opportunities of exports. Many times, a small entrepreneur, maybe not so small, needs capital to have the possibility to go to other markets, to reach new markets. So the investments are very important. In the fourth place, sales points. Many times, companies that will come here will show to other partners, business partners, the products, and then they will end the trade show having their products going to Ecuador or going to Hong Kong or going to Vietnam to improve their assets. Finally, one of the last objectives is to have business conference. Many times, products, industrial products, need to be explained. Conference, business conference, and lecture expositions. It's very important to explain the halal. It's very important to bring to the same table different partners, technological partners, how we can do, who can manufacture, things like this. We'll have in Santiago, in June 2016, the biggest place, that is Espacio Riesgo, with more or less 30,000 square meters of exposition. It's a very high task. We want the ASEAN companies, we want Chinese companies, we want Japanese companies and Korean to trade with the Latin American countries. Here we have more or less the areas that we are going to use in the expo. First one, the first pavilion, that is more or less 200 booths for the Asian companies from Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore, Philippines, and the rest of the countries. Then we are going to have in the big pavilion, China. This is more or less 12,000 square meters, where we can achieve between 350 and 500 companies. And then a smaller space for the Latin American countries. That is the big house of Espacio Riesgo. We intend to bring here not only the expert companies. We have a very big goal. If we bring only the expert companies, it's not enough. Our mission, my mission, is to bring the buyers. Because if we bring the exporters and we don't bring the buyers, it's almost nothing. One of the most important things is to work with a small company and to see who is interested in his products, who can share his goals. If I am a who is going to buy products from Brazil, where we can put products from Brazil, who are the importers of the Chinese product, of glass, for example. If we're going to have a glass company from China, we're going to need, for the construction, to make business interchange. That's the idea, not only to expose. What we intend to do is to make an interchange of commercial opportunities. For only one purpose, to increase our economies. That's the way. That's the way of increasing our economies and to bring wealth to our people. I would like to end with a quotation of a person that I love very much, that it was my father. That he said, before dying, one of his words said, "There is not the sand that moves. There are very little, tiny, small pieces of rocks that moves. Every one of us here is one little piece. And all of us, we are the sand. If we don't work together, if we don't work together with a purpose, we won't achieve the goal. Our goal is to increase the richness of our people, of every country, and we have to work together. We have to work together." The presentation will be sent to your emails, also with the prices of the booths. And we're going to start to work with everybody of you, commercial areas, to spread the idea. To spread this idea, it's not easy. We don't expect that you will do our job. We're expecting you to help us, to increase and to make our countries better. At last, I want to say thank you, gracias, and I hope I will say it okay. Xie Kansha, Hamza, terima kasih, Kopkun, thanks. Thank you.
Muchas gracias, Miguel, por tu presentación. Quisiera darle unos minutos al consejero económico de la Embajada de la República de China, el señor Liu Tao, que nos va a dar a conocer unos tópicos respecto de cómo China está creciendo en Latinoamérica y cuáles son sus expectativas en nuestra nación y en Latinoamérica, integrando a los demás países.
Buenos días, estimados embajadores, estimados amigos chilenos. Muy contento yo participo en este lanzamiento de Feria de Asia América 2016. Justamente ayer participé en otro lanzamiento que se llama Chile Week. Yo vi en el periódico ya ha salido la noticia y el señor Glenn también recién mencionó y participó. Es una actividad, es una serie de actividades organizada por Chile de Chile, juntamente en Shanghai y Beijing de China. Anteayer yo participé en otro evento, era un seminario a que vino una delegación comercial de China y la ministra de Trabajo eventos con la característica o motivos de promoción de comercio internacional. Y ustedes ya creo, casi cada día yo tengo estas oportunidades, entonces cada día estoy contento. Me parece que son muy útiles esos eventos o actividades, sobre todo en este momento, este periodo actual, un poco difícil. Tanto China como Chile, o casi todo el mundo, está enfrentándose de la presión de aumento de economía y comercio. La primera mitad del año en curso, China como el mayor país de comercio internacional, su inflación total bajó 7% en comparación con el periodo anterior. Y bueno, a Chile bajó 12%. Bajo esta situación difícil, me parece que son más necesarios que los gobiernos, las instituciones sociales y las empresas comerciales que hagan algo para estimular, impulsar, levantar el aumento de economía y comercio, como esta feria hace América. Yo he notado que esa feria no solamente un bilateral entre China y Chile, sino entre Asia y América. China como el mayor país de Asia, queremos asumir las responsabilidades y contribuir las esfuerzos para llevar el aumento de economía de toda Asia. Y como el organizador de esta feria es una empresa Interferias chilenas, y el lugar donde se celebra esta feria será en Santiago, Chile. Entonces también nos alegramos de ver que Chile está tomando el papel de pionero de aumento de economía de toda América. Por eso queremos trabajar juntos con Chile. Por eso el patrocinio de esa feria es una asociación china-chilena. Por eso los auspicios de esa feria son un banco chino en Chile y algunas empresas chinas en Chile. De todas formas, queremos trabajar juntos con Chile. Convierte ese lanzamiento en cumplimiento. Gracias.
Muchas gracias por sus palabras. Bueno, quisiera quedarme con una palabra de resumen, en base a las palabras y la presentación de Miguel. Creo que hoy día puedo resumirlo en una palabra que es integración. Necesitamos integrar las naciones para continuar con el crecimiento de cada país. Y hoy día sabemos que hay proyectos que integran países latinoamericanos. Sabemos un proyecto de esta ruta transoceánica, este tren transoceánico. Sabemos que Chile ya habilitó 3 pasos fronterizos, o está por habilitar. Uno de los principales es el paso de Aguas Negras, aquí es la 4ª región que va a comunicar Argentina con Chile. Y creo que Latinoamérica está preparado para seguir creciendo, está preparado para recibir nuevos inversionistas, está preparado para recibir nuevos empresarios, especialmente Chile. Chile es una gran nación y con el apoyo de las cámaras de comercio presentes, con las cuales ya hemos hecho un trabajo de hace ya 2 meses, quiero volver a agradecer a los países invitados y especialmente darle mis condolencias al país de Tailandia, ¿cierto? Bangkok, que ayer tuvo un atentado, y el señor Van, en esa mesa presente, que representa a ese país, y creo que situaciones como esa complican cualquier relación internacional, pero creo que salir adelante es importante. Chile es un país estable, Chile es un país que hoy es seguro, y y esas características hacen posible de que empresarios de distintas naciones puedan venir a hacer negocios a Chile. Y bueno, los dejo invitados a que cooperen con este desarrollo y esperamos lograr nuestro objetivo muy pronto. Muchas gracias por haber asistido. Si tienen algunas preguntas, hay un micrófono atrás. Si se pregunta sobre Miguel o las preguntas a la organización, creo que no. Bueno, si no hay preguntas, no queda más que agradecerles por asistir. Los invito en el Salón C. Hay una presentación de una empresa llamada Privis, que es una de las empresas también. Muchas gracias por haber venido y nos vemos pronto en junio del 2016. Muchas gracias.
Ya. Muy bien, gracias. Bien, gracias.
Gracias.